Your silence did something your words never did, something your explaining never accomplished, something your pursuing never created, something your patience never achieved, something your understanding never produced. Your silence, complete sustained silence, total absence of contact, absolute withdrawal of all pursuit, comprehensive removal of your presence, created response that nothing else created, created response they didn't expect, response they couldn't control, response that's affecting them in ways they can't suppress, response that's breaking through defended position in ways your presence never broke through. Your silence accomplished what your presence couldn't accomplish, what your availability couldn't achieve, what your loving them couldn't create, what your accommodating their defended position couldn't produce. Silence created crisis. Crisis they're experiencing viscerally. Crisis that's generating specific emotions they can't defend against. Specific emotions that are consuming them. They're embarrassed. Deeply embarrassed. Embarrassed in ways that penetrate defended position. Embarrassed by specific things your silence revealed. Embarrassed by what silence proved. Embarrassed by recognition, silence forced. Embarrassed by facing, they can't avoid through silence existing. The embarrassment is acute. Is them experiencing shame about patterns, shame about how they treated you, shame about what silence proves about them, shame about recognition others might have, shame about facing themselves. All embarrassment, all shame, all consuming them in ways their defended position is designed to prevent. Defended position exists to prevent shame, exists to prevent embarrassment, exists to avoid facing anything that creates shame about self. But your silence created shame anyway, created embarrassment their defending can't eliminate, created facing they can't avoid. The embarrassment is crisis. Is them experiencing what defending was supposed to prevent, and they're angry, furiously angry, angry in ways that contradict their claimed indifference, angry about your silence specifically, angry about what silence communicates, angry about loss of control silence creates, angry about how silence affects them, angry about emotions silence is forcing them to feel. The anger is intense, is rage at you for going silent, rage at themselves for caring that you went silent, rage at situation, silence created, rage at loss, silence represents, rage at embarrassment, silence is causing, all anger, all consuming them, all proving your silence affected them profoundly, despite defended position designed to make them unaffected by others' choices. Your silence created embarrassment and anger, created both simultaneously, created crisis of shame and rage that defended position can't resolve, created emotions they can't suppress through usual defending, created response your presence never created, your words never created, your pursuing never created. Only silence created this. Only complete withdrawal created embarrassment and anger that's breaking them. While your silence revealed, that creates the embarrassment, why they're experiencing shame. Understanding what silence revealed helps you see why embarrassment is consuming them. What truth silence made undeniable that defended position was hiding. Silence proved they needed you more than you needed them, destroying their defended narrative of independence, creating shame about dependence they claim not to have. Your silence proved something, proved they needed you more than you needed them, proved it through their response to silence, through them being affected by silence, through silence bothering them, through silence creating crisis they're experiencing, through them monitoring your life during silence, through them struggling with silence, through silence affecting them enough to create embarrassment and anger, all proving they needed you, needed your presence, needed your pursuit, needed your emotional availability, needed relationship with you, needed all of it more than they admitted, more than they showed, more than they acknowledged, more than defended position allowed them to recognize. Your silence proved need existed, proved it undeniably through their response revealing they're affected by your absence. The proof destroys defended narrative, narrative they maintained throughout relationship, narrative that said, I'm independent, I don't need anyone, I'm fine alone, I don't need intimate connection, I can take or leave relationships, I'm not dependent, I don't need her specifically, I don't need what she provides, I'm self-sufficient, all narrative, all defended story, all designed to protect them from vulnerability of acknowledging need. Acknowledging need means acknowledging dependence. Acknowledging dependence means acknowledging someone has power to hurt them through leaving. Acknowledging power to hurt means acknowledging vulnerability. All too scary, too threatening to defended position. So, narrative maintained, I don't need anyone. Independent, self-sufficient, not dependent. Your silence destroyed narrative, destroyed it by proving through their response that need existed all along, that they do need, do depend, do require connection, do need you specifically, all proven through them being affected by silence, through silence creating crisis. Through their response revealing dependence, narrative was denying. The destruction creates embarrassment, creates shame about being exposed, about narrative being proven false, about defended independence being revealed as defended story hiding actual dependence, creates shame about needing you when they claimed not to need, about depending on you when they performed independence, about you mattering when they acted like you were optional, about silence affecting them when defended position claimed nothing affects them. The embarrassment is them facing, I was lying, lying about independence, lying about not needing, lying about being fine without intimate connection, lying about her being replaceable, all lies, all proven lies through silence revealing I need her through my response to her absence. The facing creates shame, deep shame, shame about being exposed as dependent when claiming independence, shame about narrative being false, shame about defended story being revealed as protection against acknowledging need rather than actual truth about not having need. They're embarrassed. Embarrassed by being exposed. Embarrassed by silence, proving they needed you, despite performing, they didn't need you. Embarrassed by dependence being revealed when independence was claimed identity. Silence revealed, they were taking you for granted, making it undeniable that they weren't valuing you while having you, creating shame about not appreciating what they had. Your silence revealed another truth. Revealed they were taking you for granted, taking for granted your presence, your pursuit, your emotional availability, your patience, your understanding, your accommodation, your love, all taken for granted, all treated as guaranteed, all not valued properly while possessed, all not appreciated adequately while available. The taking for granted was invisible while you were present, was normalized through your continued presence, was sustained through your continued pursuit, was invisible to them because you being there meant they didn't have to value your being there. Your being there was guaranteed, regardless of how they treated you. But silence made taken for granted visible, made it visible by removing what was being taken for granted. By your absence revealing, I was taking her presence for granted, was assuming she'd always be available, was treating her pursuit as guaranteed, was not appreciating her properly, was not valuing her adequately, was taking advantage of her patience without recognizing taking advantage, all revealed through absence, making presence's value undeniable. The revelation creates embarrassment, creates shame about how they treated you, shame about not valuing you while having you, shame about taking for granted what should have been treasured, shame about assuming availability instead of appreciating availability, shame about treating guaranteed what should have been honored. The shame is specific, is them facing, I had something valuable, I didn't value it properly, I took it for granted, I treated treasure like commodity, I assumed presence instead of appreciating presence. I lost valuable thing through not valuing valuable thing while having it. All shameful recognition. All them facing, they failed to appreciate, failed to value, failed to honor, failed to treat properly. All failure. All revealed through silence, making undeniable that they took for granted what your presence allowed them to take for granted. The facing creates embarrassment. Embarrassment about how they treated you. Embarrassment about not appreciating. Embarrassment about taking for granted. Embarrassment about losing valuable thing through failing to value valuable thing. They're embarrassed. Embarrassed by revelation. Embarrassed by silence proving they took you for granted. Embarrassed by facing they weren't appreciating what they should have treasured. Silence proved their defended position is unattractive. Others, witnessing your leaving, reveals their patterns cost relationships, creating shame about public recognition of their dysfunction. Your silence proves something else, something public, something others can witness. Proved their defended position costs relationships, proved it visibly, proved it through you leaving, through you going silent, through you choosing yourself, through you walking away from their patterns. The leaving is public proof, is visible evidence, is others seeing. She left him. She went silent. She chose herself over relationship with him. All public. All visible to mutual friends, family, social circles, all creating narrative others can see. Narrative that says his patterns cost him relationship, his defended position made her leave, his emotional unavailability drove her away, his treatment made her choose silence over continued relationship. All visible, all others witnessing. All public proof that defended position is costly, that patterns are unattractive, that defended behavior costs relationships. The public proof creates specific embarrassment, creates shame about others knowing, about others seeing, about others recognizing his patterns cost relationship, about others witnessing that defended position is relationship ending, about others judging, about others recognizing dysfunction, about public recognition that he's the reason relationship ended, that his defended position is what drove you away, that his patterns are what made you choose silence. The public shame is different from private shame. Is shame about others seeing, others knowing, others recognizing, others judging? Is shame about reputation, about others' perception, about social recognition of dysfunction, about people witnessing that defended position, costs relationships, all public embarrassment, all shame about being seen as person whose patterns cost him valuable relationship, being seen as person whose defended position drives people away, being seen as person who lost good thing through being defended. They're embarrassed by others knowing, by others seeing you left, by others recognizing patterns cost relationship, by public proof that defended position is unattractive, by visible evidence that defended behavior ends relationships, by social recognition that their reason, relationship ended. All embarrassment, all shame about public dimension, about others witnessing, about defended position being exposed publicly as costly, as unattractive, as relationship ending. Your silence is public, is visible, is others seeing you chose yourself, others recognizing you left, others knowing relationship ended because of patterns, all public proof, all creating public embarrassment, all shame they can't hide from because silence is visible to others, is public statement, is you visibly choosing yourself away from them in ways others can witness. The public embarrassment is acute, is them facing, others see, others know, others recognize my patterns cost relationship, others witness I lost her. All public shame, all embarrassment about social recognition of dysfunction, your silence made publicly visible. Silence revealed they're losing at their own game. You choosing yourself instead of chasing proved their defended strategy backfired, creating shame about manipulation failing. Your silence revealed strategy failed. Strategy of using defended position to control relationship. Strategy of withdrawing to make you pursue. Strategy of creating distance to make you close distance. Strategy of being emotionally unavailable to make you provide emotional availability. Strategy of patterns that made you do relationship work while they maintained defended comfort. All strategy, all defended manipulation, all designed to keep you pursuing while they remain defended, all working throughout relationship, working because you were pursuing, because you were closing distance they created, because you were providing emotional availability they withheld, because you were doing work while they remained comfortable. Strategy worked while you were playing, but your silence ended the game, ended it by you choosing yourself, choosing silence over pursuing, choosing absence over continued chase, choosing yourself over playing defended game. The ending proved strategy backfired, proved defended manipulation failed, proved withdrawal doesn't create pursuing when person being withdrawn from chooses self instead of choosing pursuit. Proved creating distance doesn't make person close distance when person chooses distance over bridging. Proved emotional unavailability doesn't create partner providing emotional availability when partner chooses unavailability over continued providing. All backfire, all strategy failing, all defended game ending through you refusing to play. The failure creates specific shame, creates embarrassment about losing at own game, about defended strategy backfiring, about manipulation failing, about patterns that were supposed to keep you chasing, creating you leaving instead. about defended position that was supposed to control relationship through making you pursue, creating you choosing self through stopping pursuit. The shame is them facing. My strategy failed. My defended manipulation backfired. My withdrawal created her complete withdrawal instead of her pursuing. My patterns cost me relationship instead of controlling relationship. I lost a game I was playing. Lost because she stopped playing, stopped pursuing, chose herself. The facing creates embarrassment. Embarrassment about strategy failing, about defended manipulation backfiring, about losing control, about patterns costing instead of controlling, about her choosing self, proving my defended game doesn't work when she refuses to play. They're embarrassed. Embarrassed by failure. Embarrassed by silence, proving defended strategy backfired. Embarrassed by losing its own game through you choosing yourself instead of continuing to pursue. What your silence created that generates the anger, why they're experiencing rage. Understanding what silence created helps you see why anger is consuming them. What lost silence represents the defended position can't accept without rage. Silence eliminated their control. You choosing yourself instead of responding to their patterns removed their power to manipulate through defended behavior. Your silence eliminated something they had throughout relationship, had and used and depended on. Control. Control over relationship dynamics. Control through defended patterns. Control through withdrawal, creating your pursuit. Control through distance, creating your closing. Control through unavailability, creating your providing. Control through patterns, making you do relationship work. All control. All them controlling relationship through defended behavior that created predictable response from you. Response they could count on. Response that made defended position sustainable. Response that allowed them to remain defended while relationship continued through your effort. Control was central. Was how defended position remained comfortable. Was how relationship continued without them having to change. Was how patterns persisted without consequences. Your pursuing in response to their withdrawal gave them control. Your closing distance they created gave them control. Your providing emotional availability they withheld gave them control. Your continuing despite patterns gave them control. All control. All them controlling relationship through defended patterns creating predictable accommodating response from you. But your silence eliminated control, eliminated it completely, eliminated it by you, not responding predictably anymore, not pursuing when they withdraw, not closing distance they create, not providing emotional availability, not continuing despite patterns, just silence, just complete absence, just you choosing yourself instead of responding to defended manipulation. The elimination of control is what creates rage. Creates it because defended people need control, need it desperately, need it to maintain defended position, need it to keep relationships continuing without requiring change, need it to sustain defended comfort while benefiting from partnership. Your silence removing control creates crisis, creates them experiencing powerlessness, experiencing they can't control you anymore through patterns, experiencing defended manipulation doesn't work when you're not responding, experiencing they've lost power to keep relationship continuing through creating predictable response. All powerlessness, all loss of control, all triggering core wound, Core wound is powerlessness, is what defended position exists to prevent experiencing. Your silence created the exact experience defending exists to prevent. Created powerlessness, created loss of control, created them unable to manipulate outcome through defended patterns. The experiencing creates rage. Rage at you for taking control away. Rage at themselves for needing control. Rage at situation where control is lost. Rage at powerlessness they're experiencing. All anger about control being eliminated through your silence. Silence forced them to feel what they've been avoiding. Suppressed emotions surfacing without your presence to distract creates rage at having to experience actual feelings. Your silence forced feeling, forced it by eliminating distraction. Throughout relationship, your presence was distraction. Was focus outside themselves? Was them experiencing relationship instead of experiencing internal, emotional state? Was them attending to you instead of attending to their feelings? Was them managing relationship dynamics instead of managing internal wounds? Your presence allowed avoiding, allowed not feeling, allowed defended position to suppress emotion through external focus, preventing internal awareness. Your presence was convenient distraction from feelings they were avoiding. Feelings about wounds, about trauma, about what relationship was triggering, about how much they cared, about how scared they were, about how vulnerable they felt. All feelings, all suppressed, all avoided through external focus on relationship dynamics, preventing internal focus on emotional experience. But your silence eliminated distraction, eliminated external focus, eliminated relationship dynamics requiring attention, eliminated you being there to focus on instead of focusing on themselves, eliminated all distraction, left them alone with themselves, alone with internal experience, alone with feelings that presence was allowing them to avoid. The alone with feelings is what creates rage, creates it because feelings are overwhelming, are things they've been avoiding. Our emotions defended position exists to prevent experiencing. Our wounds surfacing, our caring surfacing, our fear surfacing, our vulnerability surfacing, are all the things defending was suppressing, now surfacing, now undeniable, now overwhelming, now consuming them because silence eliminated distraction that was preventing feeling. They're feeling things they don't want to feel, feeling emotions they've been avoiding, feeling wounds, feeling caring, feeling loss, feeling everything. Silence is forcing to surface through elimination of distraction. The forced feeling creates rage. Rage at you for eliminating distraction through silence. Rage at themselves for feeling things they didn't want to feel. Rage at emotions surfacing. Rage at having to experience what defending was preventing from being experienced. Rage at silence forcing feeling instead of allowing continued avoiding through presence as distraction. Silence proved you don't need them. Your thriving without them threatens their ego's need to be needed, creating rage at loss of significance. Your silence proved you don't need them, proved it through you thriving, through you building, through you moving forward, through you being fine, better than fine, flourishing without them, through you creating full life in their absence, through you demonstrating independence, through you showing you're capable of complete well-being without relationship with them, all proving you don't need them, don't need their presence, don't need their occasional availability, don't need their defended offering of minimal connection, don't need relationship with them for wholeness, don't need them for happiness, don't need them for thriving, all proven through silence being accompanied by your visible thriving, by you building life that works without them, by you flourishing in their absence instead of falling apart from their absence. The proving threatens ego, threatens it fundamentally, threatens core defended belief, belief that they're needed, that people need them, that their significance is based on being needed, that even when they're defended, people need them enough to stay, need relationship enough to accommodate defended position, need them enough that leaving is an option. All ego protective belief, all maintaining significance through being needed. But your silence proves opposite, proves you don't need them, proves you're fine without them, proves you're thriving without needing relationship with them, proves their significance was based on your choosing them, not on you needing them, proves you can be complete without them, can be happy without them, can thrive without them, can build full life without them being part of that life. All ego-threatening, all destroying belief they're needed, all proving their significance was optional, not necessary. Was you choosing to include them, not you needing to include them? Was your generosity not your necessity? The threat creates rage. Rage at you for not needing them. Rage at you for thriving without them. Rage at you for proving they're not necessary. Rage at you for building life that works in their absence. Rage at ego threat. Rage at loss of significance. Rage at being proven optional instead of needed. Rage at you demonstrating independence that destroys their belief they're needed. All rage about ego threat, about loss of significance, through you proving you don't need them, through thriving visibly in their absence. Silence created consequences without giving them chance to prevent. Loss occurring without negotiation. Triggers rage at being unable to talk their way out of consequence. Your silence created consequence, created it without warning they could prevent, created it without opportunity to negotiate, created it without chance to talk you out of choosing yourself, created it through you just choosing, just going silent, just leaving, just creating consequence without giving them opportunity to prevent consequence through promise and change. Throughout relationship, consequences were preventable through them promising, through them explaining, through them negotiating, through them talking you out of boundaries, through them preventing enforcement through verbal manipulation. Pattern was, you'd set boundary, they'd violate boundary, you'd threaten consequence, they'd promise change, you'd give another chance, consequence wouldn't occur. Pattern repeated. Repeated because consequences were always preventable through them preventing, through them negotiating out of consequence, through them manipulating you into not enforcing through promises, keeping hope alive that change would occur. But silence was different. Was consequence without negotiation opportunity? Was you choosing yourself without giving them chance to talk you out of choosing yourself? Was boundary being enforced without them having opportunity to prevent enforcement through promising? Was consequence occurring despite their ability to negotiate, usually preventing consequences from occurring? The unable to prevent creates rage, creates it because defended people depend on ability to prevent consequences, depend on verbal manipulation, preventing enforcement, depend on promises preventing boundaries being maintained, depend on negotiating preventing loss. Your silence eliminated the depending, eliminated ability to prevent, eliminated opportunity to negotiate, eliminated chance to talk you out of consequence, just created consequence, created loss, created you gone, created silence, all without them having opportunity to prevent through strategies that previously prevented. The elimination of prevention ability creates rage. Rage at you for creating consequence without negotiation. Rage at losing without chance to prevent losing. Rage at consequence occurring despite their usual ability to prevent consequences through verbal manipulation. Rage at silence being final in ways that don't allow them to talk you out of finality. All rage about loss of control, about consequence occurring without prevention opportunity, about them being unable to manipulate out of consequence that silence created without negotiation. The uncomfortable mirror. Turn. If their embarrassment and anger affect you, examine whether you're still oriented toward them, but examine your response to their embarrassment and anger. Why knowing they're embarrassed affects you. Why their anger creates response in you. Why their crisis from your silence feels significant. Because if you've genuinely chosen yourself, if you're genuinely healed, if you're genuinely moved on, their emotional state should be irrelevant, shouldn't matter whether they're embarrassed, shouldn't concern you whether they're angry, shouldn't feel important. That silence created crisis for them. Your thriving should be complete without their crisis being part of thriving. Your choosing yourself should be independent of their response to you choosing yourself. Your silence should be about you protecting yourself, not about creating specific emotional response in them. The fact that their embarrassment and anger feel significant reveals something, reveals you might still be oriented toward them, still organized around their response, still making your healing about how silence affects them instead of about how silence serves you. This orientation keeps you attached, keeps you checking whether silence is affecting them, keeps you monitoring their emotional state, keeps you feeling satisfied when they're struggling, keeps you invested in their crisis instead of invested in your healing, all keeping you connected through caring about their response, all preventing complete detachment, all making your silence about them instead of about you. Stop caring about their embarrassment. Stop monitoring their anger. Stop feeling satisfied that silence created crisis. Stop making your healing about their struggling. Stop orienting toward their emotional state. Orient toward yourself, toward your well-being, toward your building, toward your thriving, towards silence serving you regardless of how silence affects them. Their embarrassment is theirs. Their anger is theirs. Their crisis is theirs. All between them and themselves. All consequences of their patterns. All irrelevant to your healing if healing is genuinely about you. Choose silence that serves you independent of their response. Choose building that's about you, not about affecting them. Choose thriving that's complete, without their crisis being part of completion. Choose yourself so completely, their emotional state becomes genuinely irrelevant. Their embarrassment doesn't validate you. Your worth validates you. Their anger doesn't prove you mattered. Your choosing yourself proves you matter to yourself. Their crisis doesn't create your healing. Your building creates your healing. All separate, all independent, all your silence serving you regardless of their response. Choose this. Choose silence for you. Choose detachment from their emotional state. Choose healing that doesn't depend on them being embarrassed or angry or affected. Choose yourself completely. Choose independence from their response. Choose silence serving you whether silence creates their crisis or not. That's choosing correctly. That's genuine healing. That's silence being about you instead of about them. What their embarrassment and anger actually mean, why crisis doesn't equal transformation. Understanding what their emotional response reveals helps you see what embarrassment and anger prove versus what they don't prove about readiness. Embarrassment proves they're facing consequences. Recognition of patterns costing relationships doesn't prove patterns will change without sustained therapeutic work. Their embarrassment proves they're facing consequences. Facing that patterns cost relationship. Facing that defended position drove you away. Facing that taking you for granted cost them you. Facing that defended strategy backfired. Facing public recognition of dysfunction. All facing. All them experiencing consequences through embarrassment about what silence revealed. The facing is real. Is them actually experiencing shame. Actually recognizing patterns cost them. Actually seeing that defended position is relationship ending. Actually aware that taking for granted, lost, valuable thing. All real recognition. All actual facing. All genuine crisis about consequences. But facing consequences doesn't prove patterns will change. Doesn't prove embarrassment will motivate transformation. Doesn't prove shame will create sustained therapeutic work. Doesn't prove recognition will translate to capacity development. Embarrassment is crisis response, is them experiencing acute shame in moment of facing, is uncomfortable emotion that creates desire to eliminate discomfort. Desire to eliminate can motivate two different responses, can motivate genuine change, them pursuing sustained therapeutic work to address patterns creating embarrassment, or can motivate defended response, them avoiding facing through returning to defended position, through explaining away embarrassment, through blaming you for making them feel embarrassed, through defending against shame instead of using shame as motivation for transformation. Crisis doesn't determine which response occurs. Crisis is just uncomfortable state. Response to crisis determines whether transformation occurs. Embarrassment can create change, can create continued defending. Their experiencing embarrassment doesn't prove which response they'll choose. Doesn't prove shame will motivate work versus motivate more defending. Doesn't prove facing will create transformation versus create return to defended comfort. Once acute embarrassment fades, they're facing now. Facing doesn't prove they'll transform. Facing proves silence created crisis. Crisis creating recognition. Recognition creating embarrassment. All happening. All proving silence affected them. None proving recognition will translate to sustained therapeutic work, creating capacity development. None proving embarrassment will motivate change versus motivate return to defended position once embarrassment becomes manageable. Don't assume embarrassment proves transformation coming. Embarrassment proves consequence being experienced. Transformation requires sustained work occurring after consequence is experienced. Embarrassment might motivate work, might motivate continued defending. Only their choice determines which. Their experiencing embarrassment doesn't prove their choice will be transformation. Anger reveals they're affected, but doesn't prove they're ready. Rage about loss doesn't create capacity to honor what was lost if they regain access. Their anger proves they're affected, proves silence bothered them, proves loss triggered them, proves your choosing yourself created rage, proves they care enough that silence creates anger, all proving impact, all proving you mattered enough that silence matters, all proving they're affected by loss, but affected doesn't equal ready. Rage about loss doesn't prove capacity to honor if loss is reversed. Rage is emotional response to unwanted outcome. Is them angry about experiencing powerlessness? Angry about losing control? Angry about forced feeling? Angry about ego threat? Angry about consequence without prevention opportunity? All anger about experiencing things they don't want to experience. All rage about outcomes they didn't choose. None proving they've developed capacity to function differently if given another chance. Anger can motivate change, can motivate them doing work to prevent future loss, can drive sustained therapeutic intervention creating capacity, but anger can also motivate blame, can create them being angry at you for leaving instead of angry at themselves for patterns that cause leaving, can create rage at you for consequences instead of accountability for patterns creating consequences, can motivate defending against feeling instead of addressing wounds, creating defended patterns. Anger is emotional response, doesn't determine what response creates, doesn't prove whether anger motivates transformation or motivates more defending. Their rage proves they're affected, doesn't prove they're ready, doesn't prove anger will create sustained work, doesn't prove affected by loss will translate to capacity to honor if returned. Rage is crisis response. Crisis responses fade. Capacity develops through sustained work. Their experiencing rage doesn't prove sustained work will occur, proves they're in crisis. Crisis might motivate work, might motivate return to defended baseline once crisis fades. Both emotions are temporary states. Embarrassment and anger fade over time, requiring sustained therapeutic work to translate crisis into lasting capacity development. Embarrassment fades, anger fades. Both are acute emotional states, both intense in moment, both temporary. Crisis emotions don't persist indefinitely. Embarrassment becomes manageable through time, through avoiding continued facing, through defended position reasserting once acute shame reduces, through them explaining embarrassment away, through blaming you for creating embarrassment, through defending against continued shame. Anger fades through time, through them adjusting to loss, through rage reducing as loss becomes less acute, through defended position reasserting control over emotional response, through them returning to defended baseline once crisis passes. Both emotions temporary, both crisis states, both fading naturally over time without intervention. Fading eliminates motivation, crisis created. Fading allows return to defended comfort. Fading means embarrassment and anger that seemed like they'd create change. Stop creating urgency once emotions reduce to manageable levels. Only sustained therapeutic work translates temporary crisis into lasting change. Only professional intervention addresses wounds creating patterns instead of just experiencing crisis about patterns. Only therapy sustained over months and years creates capacity development that persists after crisis emotions fade. They're experiencing embarrassment and anger now doesn't prove therapeutic work will occur. Doesn't prove crisis will motivate sustained intervention. Doesn't prove temporary emotions will translate to lasting capacity. Crisis creates window where motivation exists, window where work could begin, window where transformation could start. But window closes as crisis emotions fade, closes as embarrassment becomes manageable, closes as anger reduces, closes as defended position reasserts once acute crisis passes. Their experiencing crisis now doesn't prove they'll use crisis to motivate work before window closes. Doesn't prove embarrassment and anger will translate to sustained therapy, creating capacity. Proves crisis exists. Doesn't prove crisis will create transformation versus crisis fading back to defended baseline. What you should do with knowledge of their crisis, maintaining boundary, regardless of their emotional state. Understanding how to respond to their crisis helps you maintain boundary without being affected by their embarrassment and anger. Maintain silence despite their emotional crisis. Their embarrassment and anger don't obligate your engagement, keeping boundary regardless of how much silence affects them. They're embarrassed, they're angry, they're in crisis, they're experiencing consequences, they're affected by silence. All their experience, all their emotional state, all their crisis to manage, none creating your obligation, none requiring your response, none obligating your engagement, none necessitating you breaking silence to comfort embarrassment or manage anger or resolve crisis. Their emotional state is theirs, is consequence of their patterns, is result of silence they're experiencing, is their crisis to handle, not your crisis to resolve, not your embarrassment to soothe, not your anger to manage, not your consequences to eliminate. Maintain silence. Maintain despite embarrassment. Maintain despite anger. Maintain despite crisis. Maintain regardless of how affected they are. Maintain because silence serves you, serves your healing, serves your boundary, serves your protection from patterns that created need for silence. Their emotional state doesn't change that silence serves you, doesn't create obligation to break silence, doesn't require you managing their crisis. Maintain silence completely. Regardless of their embarrassment and anger. Don't break silence to comfort their embarrassment, providing relief from shame they're experiencing prevents natural consequences from motivating potential transformation. Their embarrassment is uncomfortable for them, is acute shame they're experiencing. Is crisis state creating suffering? Suffering might create pull in you. Pull to comfort, pull to relieve their embarrassment, pull to make shame less acute, pull to help them feel better about what silence revealed. Resist pull. Don't break silence to comfort embarrassment. Don't provide relief from shame. Don't eliminate consequences creating embarrassment. Don't make facing easier through engaging. That prevents them from sitting with full weight of what silence revealed. Their embarrassment is natural consequence of patterns, of taking for granted, of defended position costing relationship, of strategy backfiring, of public recognition of dysfunction, all natural consequences, all appropriate results of their choices and patterns. Consequences are what creates potential motivation for change. Consequences are what might drive sustained therapeutic work. Consequences are what could motivate transformation. Breaking silence to comfort embarrassment eliminates consequences, eliminates natural discomfort that creates motivation, eliminates facing that might drive change, eliminates crisis that could motivate work. Your comfort prevents consequences from doing what consequences do, create discomfort sufficient to motivate, addressing patterns, creating consequences. Don't prevent, don't comfort, don't relieve embarrassment, don't eliminate shame, don't make crisis less acute. Let consequences be consequences. Let embarrassment be full weight. Let shame create full discomfort. Let facing be complete facing. Let crisis motivate if crisis will motivate, or let crisis fade without motivating. Either way, they're experiencing or not. Transforming through experiencing is theirs to manage, not yours to prevent through breaking silence to comfort. Maintain silence. Let embarrassment be theirs. Let consequences be full consequences. Let natural results of patterns be experienced without your interference, preventing natural results from potentially motivating change. Don't respond to their anger. Engaging with rage validates that anger affects you. Teaching them anger is effective strategy for breaking your boundary. Their anger might reach you, might reach through mutual friends mentioning they're angry, through them attempting contact, expressing anger, through indirect communications revealing rage, through others reporting they're furious about silence. All ways anger might become known to you, all creating potential pull to respond, pull to defend yourself against anger, pull to explain why silence is justified, pull to engage with rage through explaining its consequence, not attack. Resist pull. Don't respond to anger. Don't engage with rage. Don't defend silence against their anger. Don't explain justification to someone who's angry about consequences. Don't validate anger through responding. Responding teaches anger is effective. Teaches rage breaks silence. Teaches getting angry creates engagement. Teaches emotional intensity gets response. All teaching that serves them, that rewards anger with attention. That makes rage effective strategy for breaking boundary. Don't teach this. Don't respond to anger. Don't engage with rage regardless of intensity. Don't defend against their fury. Don't explain to their anger. Let anger be theirs. Let rage be their experience. Let fury be their emotional state to manage without you validating through responding. Silence includes not responding to anger, includes not engaging with rage, includes not defending against fury, includes letting their anger be theirs to experience without you breaking silence to address anger. Responding validates anger, teaches rage works, makes fury effective. Don't validate, don't teach. Don't make anger effective. Maintain silence. Maintain through their anger. Maintain despite rage. Maintain regardless of fury. Let anger be consequence they experience. Let rage be their emotional state. Let fury be theirs to manage. All without you responding. All without you engaging. All without you teaching that anger breaks silence and creates response. Maintain boundary completely. Despite anger, through anger, regardless of anger. Let their crisis be motivation for sustained work, not for your returning. If embarrassment and anger drive therapeutic intervention, Transformation might occur, but transformation is their work, not your responsibility. Their crisis might motivate work, might motivate sustained therapeutic work, might drive them to therapy, might create them pursuing EMDR, somatic therapy, attachment-focused intervention, might motivate years of professional work addressing defended position, might create genuine transformation through sustained intervention, all possible, all their choice, all their work if chosen, all occurring independently of you, all transformation that serves their future, all capacity development that might come too late for a relationship with you. If crisis motivates work, work is theirs to do. Work takes years. Years of sustained therapy creating capacity. Years occurring while you're maintaining silence, while you're healing, while you're building, while you're moving forward. Their work timeline and your healing timeline are separate. Their transformation and your moving on are independent. Their doing work doesn't create your obligation to wait. Their pursuing therapy doesn't mean you should pause healing. Their transformation doesn't require you being available when transformation occurs. Crisis might motivate work. Work might create transformation. Transformation might make them capable eventually. All theirs. All independent of you. All requiring years of sustained effort. All happening on timeline that's theirs. Your timeline is yours. Is you healing now, building now, moving forward now, thriving now, creating life that works now. There may be transforming, eventually doesn't affect your building now. Their possibly doing work doesn't change your healing currently. Their crisis creating potential motivation doesn't create your waiting. Let crisis be theirs. Let work be theirs, if work occurs. Let transformation be theirs, if transformation happens. Let timeline be theirs. Your timeline is yours. Your healing is yours. Your moving forward is yours. Your building is yours. All happening now. All independent of whether their crisis motivates work. All complete, regardless of whether their embarrassment and anger drive transformation. Choose your timeline. Choose your healing. Choose your building. Choose your moving forward. All now. All independent of their crisis. All complete without their transformation being necessary for your completion. The permanent truth about their embarrassment and anger. Your silence created crisis, created embarrassment, created anger, created them experiencing consequences they couldn't avoid through defending, created them facing what silence revealed, created shame about being exposed, about needing you, about taking you for granted, about defended position being publicly proven costly, about strategy backfiring, all embarrassment, all shame, all consequence of silence revealing truth. Defended position was hiding and created anger, created rage about loss of control, about forced feeling, about ego threat, about consequence without prevention opportunity. All anger, all fury about outcomes, silence created that they couldn't prevent through usual manipulation. Your silence accomplished what nothing else accomplished, what your presence never created, what your words never achieved, what your pursuing never produced, created crisis, created embarrassment and anger, created them experiencing consequences, created facing, all through silence, through complete withdrawal, through absolute absence, through you choosing yourself. But their crisis doesn't obligate you. Their embarrassment doesn't require your comfort. Their anger doesn't necessitate your response. Their facing doesn't create your responsibility to help facing. Their consequences don't require your eliminating consequences. All theirs. All between them and themselves. All results of their patterns. All their experiences to manage without you breaking silence to manage for them. Crisis might motivate transformation, might drive sustained therapeutic work, might create capacity development through professional intervention, might result in genuine change, all possible, all their choice, all their work, all occurring independently of you, all transformation that serves their future potentially, all irrelevant to your healing currently. Your healing is yours, your silence is yours, your building is yours, your moving forward is yours, all happening now, all independent of their crisis, all complete without their transformation, all about you choosing yourself. Maintain silence, maintain completely, maintain despite embarrassment, maintain despite anger, maintain despite crisis, maintain because silence serves you, protects you, creates space for healing, creates boundary protecting from patterns, creates your choosing yourself over managing their consequences. Their embarrassment and your silence both happening, their anger and your healing both occurring, their crisis and your building both real. Only yours serves you. Only yours is yours to maintain. Only yours determines your well-being. Maintain yours, completely, regardless of theirs. Their crisis is theirs. Your silence serves you. Choose what serves you. Maintain what protects you. Build what heals you. Move forward for you, all independent of their embarrassment and anger, all complete without their crisis affecting your boundary, all you choosing yourself, completely, permanently. Regardless of how silence affects them, that's choosing correctly, that's maintaining boundary, that's silence serving you, instead of their crisis controlling you. Choose you, choose silence, choose healing, choose building, choose moving forward, all for you, all regardless of them, all complete without their crisis being part of your completion. Choose completely.